Hey fam, so sorry for this late video, but I saw this video and I was like, I can't believe this is still going on and it's getting worse and worse and worse. So, I've been reporting on Shanghai and their lockdowns. I've been reporting on China and their lockdowns first and then Beijing. So they're still dealing with that. The bad part of that is it's getting worse and worse every single day. In the video that's going to play after I get through speaking, you'll see a mother who was forced to leave her home and leave her 4-month-old baby behind that she was breastfeeding. It was just upsetting. I got a serious headache on that. But I wanted to share that video to talk about what's going on over there. Every single day, there is absolutely something else to add to the list of things going on. But most times, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just going to the next extreme of it. Okay, so the ports in Shanghai are running at about 30% right now. Nothing is hardly moving over there. China is having a hard time getting food to the people that they have locked up. So if they're having a hard time getting food because of the supply chain shortage, don't you think that's coming over here? When we get a bulk of our items from China? On to the next point. For years, China has been stockpiling food. I don't want to say hoarding, but stockpiling food. And for emergency or whatever happens, so their citizens will have food. What's happened to that food? Have they gone through all of that food? And if so, they're going to make sure over there is taken care of before anything happens over here. Some people say, is China just, locking things down the way they are with the zero COVID policies? Are they doing it to the extreme to hurt us over here? Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Let me know in the comments what you think. But I'm going to let you watch this video. Y'all stay vigilant. Get your preps up. Stack them, as many say, to the rafters. I say to the moon and beyond if you can. Just get what you can get. Another thing, things are going to get real thick come, they're guessing, July. By July. There's 2 more variants out there. And they have been diagnosed here in the United States, but they ain't talking about it. They're talking about everything else but that. But you're going to hear about it. I want you to remember you heard it here. You are going to hear about those 2, I think it's B3 and B4, because they already got B2 that's out of the Omicron variant. Now they're saying that perhaps it won't be as bad as the Omicron or the B2 variant of Omicron that's out there. But it's going to be an uptick in numbers to the point where you will notice it. And they will then probably talk about it, So if you feel you need to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't, then don't. That is your choice to do what you choose to do. In Africa is where they found it. They always find this stuff and they let you know. But why is it over here they don't let you know anything until it's too late? Food shortages are going to be real. Really? A whole year, 2 years after, when we all been showing y'all what's going on in these stores, now you want to say it all before everything's fine. So I'm saying to you, if you're not stocking up, you don't even have to say you're a prepper. If you're not getting extra items for your household or someone else's household, then you need to get some extra items. Because if China's feeling what they're feeling right now with food shortages and this whole uptick in cases over there, it's gonna be here. It's already happened. It's already proved itself. So it's gonna happen. whether you want it to or not, whether you want to believe it or not. Leave me comments down below. Be kind in the comments. Don't be disrespectful or rude in the comments. But let us know what you're thinking. I'll see you in the next video.
These are the grim conditions in which tens of thousands of people are being quarantined in Shanghai. This footage was taken by Thomas Vinay, who was sent to one of the city's so-called COVID camps after testing positive last Saturday.
Fortunately, now I'm perfectly healthy, so it's easier maybe to go through this. But I'm surrounded with people who are sick, who are always coughing. I don't know if you can hear the noise, like right now. It's like this every 3 seconds.
He told me it's like living in a box and said there's an atmosphere of tension and anger, partly due to sleep deprivation.
We have no windows, so we don't know if it's day or night. We cannot go outside, we cannot breathe the fresh air. This big light in front of me, on the top of me, they never ever turn off, or it's always, even at 2, 3, 5 a.m., it's always the same.
With case numbers still rising, there's no sign yet of the lockdown working. And in recent days, the extreme and in some cases cruel actions of the authorities have been exposed. The relatives of this elderly man wheeled his bed in front of their community management office to try and get him taken to hospital. But because he wasn't sick with COVID, he was ignored, and he subsequently died. This woman was distraught after being told she might be separated from her baby.
You take us away but leave a 4-month-old child who is still breastfed at home? What are you trying to do? Do you want him to die?
Millions of people are also down to their last rations of food. Local deliveries are promised over the weekend, but the supply chain issues stemming from here will be far-reaching. The port of Shanghai is the busiest in the world, and activity has dropped by 30%. There is hardly a product or trade that will not be impacted. There are currently more than 20 Chinese cities in some level of lockdown. That covers an estimated 193 million people. 2 years after the first COVID-19 outbreak here in China, the country is facing its biggest containment test so far, Beijing.
Also right here, this video is of a resident at a nursing home who was presumed to be deceased. They wheeled him out to the hearse to go to the funeral home, and then they realized the man is alive. And they had to take him back in. This is how bad things are getting over in Shanghai. So don't look for things to get any better here. Sure, your stores may be stocked up, or you may not be experiencing a lot of shortages in your area. That's for the short term. The long term, we're going to experience real food shortages. We have been warned about this. And when they warn you of something in the media, you already know it's worse than they are telling you. And if you don't know, you're going to find out real fast. People are going to starve.
So talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well. And because both Russia and Ukraine have been the breadbasket of Europe in terms of wheat, for example. Just to give you one example.
Oh my God!
Let's look at fuel. Fuel prices have gone up. They're continuing to go up. He said that he was going to release more fuel so that it will come down some. Yeah, it trickled down a little bit for us, but for the truck drivers, the price stayed the same, and then it started shooting up. It's still continuing to go up. You have truckers that are having hard times, my husband being one, because he got to pay out of pocket for that fuel because he's an owner-operator. Then you take the trains. Back in January 2022, I did a story about trains being jacked, robbed for the goods, because container ships are being transported by train also in order to try to get the supplies out. And people found a way to get to it. Some of us can no longer afford to sit back and say that I will be fine. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Fine, keep doing what you're doing, but you also need to stock up on food, as much of it as you can.